Kia ora staff. Thanks for watching this. Basically, this video is going to outline how you can utilize ClassDojo within your classroom. So first things first, let's find it. So I simply type in ClassDojo, right? Takes me straight to the ClassDojo homepage. Now, once you've registered and you've signed in, it'll take you to this console. And again, something that's fantastic about this is once you have signed in, it saves your password and enters you into it automatically. This takes you to the home desk or the home screen, and it has your classes that you currently teach there. Now, more than likely, I'll have more than you do in this, so you only have a couple of classes to choose from. So, if I simply select a class, let's take 10 QEB. For instance, it brings me to the class. Now you can see this is a new class that we're using today. It hasn't been used yet, so hopefully we're going to get that up and running during week 2. Now, something that's great about this is, as you can see, every single student has their own little monster that represents them. Now, what we can do is award from here a positive or a negative, which is fantastic. You can see there's already a lot of detailed, basically needs work, our negative and positive comments that can be applied here. This means that to save time for you, you can simply click one of the buttons awarding a positive or a negative, with it demonstrating what the student did wrong or well. You can also, however, click it and add a note. So for example, if I wanted to award a positive, let's say to Amy, I click here, she's helping others, bing, it awards a positive. And if I have this up in class, she can see, as well as the other students instantly, that she's been awarded this for doing well. Let's say, for example, however, though, that Billy is off task during his lesson. So I select Billy, click on needs work, and let's say off task. I can click the negative for off task and it awards it to him. Fantastic. So let's click another student, Kuro, for example. Now, he's doing an excellent job presenting to the class and contributing to class discussions. Now, there's nothing here that demonstrates that, so I can create a specific one and add a skill point. So again, just to slow it down, I clicked add a skill. I can then click add a skill for a positive or a negative, and then say, for example, this one, contributing to class discussions. And it spell checks as well for those of you who aren't English teachers, which is fantastic for the likes of me. So I can save that. It's now saved to the ClassDojo positive and negative page. And we can see that it's right at the top there, so I can award that to Kuro in real time. Now, if you've made an error and awarded a positive or a negative to the wrong person, we can simply do this. Click undo last. We can see that Kuro's positive has disappeared. Undo last again. Billy's is gone. Undo last again. And Amy's is gone. And we can see the whole class total has gone down to 0. Now, speaking of the whole class, if, say, for example, you think the students would deserve a normal 5 that they would get in the logbook for being excellent, you could do this. Let's say hardworking. The whole class was hardworking. Boom. Every single student's awarded that. And I can even add a note to this to say, if you would like, which gives the note to the other teachers and form teacher who are joined to this page, that all students were working well. And add that note there. Brilliant. Now, just for another point that you can do, we can also select multiple. So let's say we have a group that's doing really well of Emma Jane, Eva, Gavin, Amy, and Varcha. So what we can do here is give feedback. Boom, straight away here. So we can again click working hard. Those 5 students have been given that positive grade, which is fantastic. We can also do the same thing for the negative. Now, when we're looking at this for form teachers or for our subject teachers who would like to give some feedback to parents at parent-teacher interviews, we can also go to view reports. You can look at the class as a whole, and you can also look at each student individually. And it will also show you each teacher who's added the comment or the positive or negative to the student. And you can see my note is coming up in the feed there too. So it's a fantastic tool to use in both our parent-teacher interviews as well as for our form teachers to see what was going on in class. Now I'll reset all of this because obviously we don't want it starting off in 10 Queb's class with an extra few positives. We want to make sure they're going for their best and trying to earn those positives themselves. Now, for those of you wondering how we would normally set homework or provide evidence of homework, we can simply go into the other tab, which is Stories, and we can post what's happening into our classroom. So, for example, we might say homework is page 2 to 5 of your workbook for PE/health due Friday, period 3. Now, as we can see, this will be posted to the page. The students will get a notification about this, as well as the parents who have also connected to this. And that notification, if they're using an app, will pop up on their phone, or if it's they're using it simply normally, how we are here, they'll get an email about this. And I can simply press post to post this. I can add a photo or even a file of that homework, very similar to Google Classroom. So, post. Now, if I want to get rid of this, I can click the triple button here and edit or delete the post. Again, I'll delete the post as this is an example. So to highlight these points again, you can place homework for students or other reminders on the class story page, similar to that of your Google Classroom. You can add positives and negatives very easily with literally 2 clicks of a button, and don't even have to write comments for those positives or negatives. You can, however, if you would like. You can view reports to see how students are behaving anytime during your class, and again, that's a fantastic tool for form teachers, house leaders, and for you when you're teaching or you're at parent-teacher interviews to show exactly how the student has been going in your class. And it's so easy you can use at the same time as anytime you're teaching a lesson. I can, for example, open a new tab, go to Google Drive, open up a PowerPoint, which I would like to use for that lesson, and using the freeze function on the remote of your informative projector, you can freeze the PowerPoint, or you can even have ClassDojo going over that PowerPoint in order for the students to see. Now let's say, for example, I'm teaching the horror and well-being lesson, which I did previously with the class today and had ClassDojo going at the same time. So I simply click present on the slide. I can freeze the slide here once it uploads, having the Hawara notes in the background, or sorry, on the foreground, whilst having ClassDojo open in the background. I can also switch between the tabs to again give students instant feedback on how they're doing. So as you can see, a very easy tool for you to utilize, which should streamline the logbook and make you able to give this feedback instantaneously to your students and to other teachers who share the class with you, whilst not having to worry about filling in the logbook, especially if the students have forgotten it in Baton or their previous class and having to run off and get that missing on those crucial parts of your lesson. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to ask me or email me. Thank you for your time. Ka kite anō.